This is a case involving 15-year-old Leah Anderson and the belief that she was murdered by someone she knew. Leah Anderson was born on November 24, 1999, in Thompson, a town located in northern Manitoba, Canada. Her parents were Sally and Gilbert, and she had 2 sisters and a brother. The Anderson family was a part of the Cree community, one of the largest indigenous groups in North America. Leah and her siblings faced a challenging upbringing, particularly when, at the age of 6, her father Gilbert was tragically murdered. The details of his death are unclear, but what is known is that his killers were never apprehended and brought to justice. Gilbert's death had a profound impact on the family, especially on Sally, who struggled with grief and subsequently battled addiction. From there, Leah and her siblings entered the foster care system. Over the next 2 years, they moved between different foster homes. In 2005, when Leah was 8 years old, her Aunt Myra and her Uncle Wayne gained custody of all 4 children. They relocated to a community known as God's Lake's Narrows, an indigenous preserve for God's Lake First Nation. Leah and her siblings were elated by this change, as they were no longer part of the foster care system and were now under the care of their aunt and uncle. They grew fond of God's Lake's Narrows, a community where everyone belonged to the Cree community. The town, with a population of around 1,300 people, was isolated and secluded from the rest of the world. Access to the community was limited, with only 2 ways in, either by flying in or, during the winter, using an ice road. For those unfamiliar, an ice road is a human-made road constructed on frozen rivers or lakes. On Friday, January 4, 15-year-old Leah Anderson was on winter break, and during this time, the roads to God's Lake Narrows were closed, making it challenging for people to enter or leave the town. Leah had plans to meet up with her friends at the local ice rink, where they intended to play hockey, skate, and spend time together. Around 7:30 p.m., Leah packed her bag, including her ice skates, informed her aunt that she was heading out, and reminded her of the curfew. She then left the house. Approximately 20 to 25 minutes later, one of Leah's friends arrived at her house and knocked on the door. Uncle Wayne answered, and the friend inquired about Leah's whereabouts. Uncle Wayne responded that she had left about 20 minutes ago to go to the ice rink, and he assumed the friend had seen her on the way there. However, the friend hadn't encountered Leah on the journey. "I was at the ice rink waiting for her, but she never showed up. So I came here to look for her, and I didn't see her on the way here." Sometime later, Leah's boyfriend Max also stopped by the house looking for her, but Leah still wasn't home. By later that night, after Leah's curfew, the family started to worry. Leah would never miss her curfew, so if she wasn't at the ice rink, with her boyfriend, or with her friends, it was concerning. She never came home that night, but the family speculated that perhaps she had gone to sleep at a friend's house and forgotten to call them. Over the next morning on Saturday, Leah still hadn't shown up, and this is when the family knew that something was wrong. The family, along with other members of the community, initiated a search party to look for Leah, but there were no signs of her. The next day on Sunday, amid heavy snowfall, and still no signs of Leah, around 10 a.m., the police received a call reporting the discovery of a body along the snowmobile trail. The victim's body was wearing a hat, and the police showed the family this hat, but they confirmed that it did not belong to Leah. However, the police then presented them with a boot found in the snow, along with a pair of ice skates, which Leah's family did confirm belonged to her. The body found was that of 15-year-old Leah Anderson. The individuals who discovered her body initially believed that she had been attacked by animals. That's how disfigured she was. However, after an autopsy was conducted, it revealed that she was not attacked by an animal. Rather, she was killed by a human who had defensive wounds on her hands, indicating that she fought back against her attacker. The cause of her death has not been disclosed. It was also determined that her time of death was on January 4th, the night she disappeared, at 10 p.m. Detectives believe she was not killed on the snowmobile trail. Her body was left there. This revelation deeply shocked the small community, and everyone sought answers about who committed this crime and why. Investigators began questioning people to find out if anyone had seen Leah on the night of her death. Several individuals came forward, stating that Leah was at a party that Friday night. The party was hosted by a woman named Josephine Chubb, who happened to be Max's cousin and Leah's boyfriend. Witnesses claimed to have seen Leah at this party. However, when detectives and reporters approached Josephine for information, she denied that Leah was ever at her party. Josephine insisted that she didn't even know who Leah was, stating, "I didn't even know who she was. I heard she was just a little girl." However, many people found this confusing because, once again, Josephine is Max's cousin. So it raises questions about how she could claim not to know her cousin's girlfriend. Despite this confusion, the investigation continued. Detectives decided to examine Leah's Facebook messages for potential clues that could shed light on the identity of her assailant. During this review, they discovered a message sent to Leah on Saturday, January 5th, the day after her death. The message was from a man named Stephen Chubb, who wrote, "I hope you didn't tell on us." Notably, Stephen shares the same last name as Josephine and Max because he is Josephine's sibling and Max's cousin. Detectives decided to interview Stephen, questioning him about the content of his message to Leah. In response, Stephen admitted to having been in a secret relationship with Leah a few months prior and expressed concern that she might have divulged this information to others. The odd part is that several individuals claimed that Stephen had openly stated at a party that he had committed murder, saying, "I committed murder. I'm going away for a long time, and I'm going to hell." When confronted by a reporter about this, Stephen dismissed it as a joke and denied any involvement in Leah's death. Despite these disturbing statements, Stephen has never been arrested or officially named a suspect in Leah's murder. The family firmly believes that Leah was killed by someone she knew within the community, considering that the roads were not closed on the day she was murdered, suggesting the killer was likely still in town when the investigation began. In 2017, a 23-year-old man from the community, whose name has never been disclosed, was arrested in connection with Leah Anderson's murder. However, he was released the day after his arrest, and no further information has been made public. As of now, Leah Anderson's case remains unsolved, leaving her family still searching for answers about who could have committed such a heinous act. This is a case of 9-year-old Asha Degree and how she vanished on Valentine's Day. Asha Degree was born on August 5, 1990, in Shelby, North Carolina, to her parents Harold and Akia Degree. She had a brother named O'Brien, who was only a year older than her. The entire family was close-knit, and friends and family described Asha as a loving girl who was quiet, reserved, and enjoyed spending time with her family. She excelled in sports, particularly basketball and softball. Her family noted that she was cautious around strangers, hesitant to interact with people she didn't know, and had fears of the dark, thunderstorms, and even petting other people's dogs. On February 12, 2000, Asha was excited about her school's basketball game. However, her excitement was short-lived as her team lost by just 1 point. Now, Aisha was really competitive, and she was heavily into basketball. So she felt responsible for the loss and believed she had let her team down. Reports suggest that Aisha was seen crying with her teammates and her parents, and they had to comfort her. The next day, on Sunday, February 13th, the family described Aisha as being over the basketball game, and she was happy again. They spent a family day together, attending church, having dinner with relatives, and returning home to watch a basketball game around 8:30 p.m. During the basketball game, around midnight the power went out due to a thunderstorm, and the family decided to go to bed. Aisha and her brother O'Brien shared a bedroom, and their father Harold checked on them after the lights went out. He found them both sound asleep. However, when O'Brien heard his father close the bedroom door, he also noticed Aisha making a noise. The noise was coming from her bed, sounding like she was rolling around or the bed was squeaking. O'Brien, her brother, didn't look up to see what was happening and went back to sleep. The next morning, on February 14, 2000, Akila woke up and went to the kids' bedroom to get them ready for school. Upon entering, she realized that Aisha was missing. Frantically searching the entire house, calling out for Aisha, she received no response. The family then called 911 to report Aisha Degree as missing. When the police arrived, they found no signs of forced entry, no locks or windows had been broken. It was determined that Aisha had left the house on her own, locking the door behind her. The disappearance was estimated to have occurred between 2:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Some truck drivers came forward, stating that they saw a girl matching Aisha's description walking along Highway 18, approximately a mile away from her house, between 3:45 and 4:15 in the morning. One truck driver expressed concern as Aisha was alone. There was a thunderstorm, and she wasn't dressed appropriately for the weather. He turned his truck around, approached Aisha, and tried to speak to her to see if she needed help. However, Aisha didn't respond and ran into the forest. The truck driver described her as wearing a white dress, sneakers, with her hair in pigtails, and carrying her backpack. The truck driver didn't call 911 to report this but notified other truckers in the area to be cautious. On February 15th, the Turner family, residing on a vast property near Highway 18 where Aisha was last seen, discovered items in their shed that they believed might be related to the case. Among the findings were candy wrappers, a pencil, a green marker, and a Mickey Mouse hair tie, all indicating that they belonged to a child. Additionally, a passport-size photo of a little girl was found in the shed, but it wasn't Aisha. Detectives presented these findings to the Degree household, showing them the photo, and the family had no knowledge of who the girl in the photo was. It was confirmed that the hair tie did belong to Aisha, and the candy wrappers were from the same candy Aisha had received from her basketball team on Saturday. The question that everyone had was why Aisha's belongings were found inside the shed, who the little girl in the photo was, and why it was there. Detectives theorized that after Aisha was confronted by the truck driver on the highway, she might have run into this shed to hide and left her things there. The detectives released the photo to the public, hoping for assistance in identifying the little girl, but no information came forward. The case went cold until August 3, 2001, almost 18 months after Aisha Degree was last seen. A contractor digging a road near Laurel Creek, just off Highway 18 where Aisha was last seen, uncovered something wrapped in a black trash bag. Inside was Aisha's backpack, and 90% of the items found in the backpack were confirmed to be Aisha's. However, two items stood out: a Dr. Seuss book that did not belong to Aisha, she hadn't checked it out from school, and a New Kids on the Block cassette tape that also did not belong to her. The mystery deepened with the discovery of these items. They released images of these items to the public in hopes that someone would come forward confirming that they belonged to them, but no one ever did. A new clue emerged in 2016, stating that someone matching Aisha's description was seen getting into a vehicle that looked like the one described on the day she disappeared on Highway 18. However, as of 2023, the police have not released more details about this car or whether they have found the driver. It's been 23 years since Aisha Degree was last seen, and to this day, her case remains unsolved. Cherish was born on December 24, 2004, in Jacksonville, Florida, to her mother Rain Periwinkle and her father Billy Gear. Everyone says that Cherish was a happy child and always had a smile on her face. She wanted to be just like her mother Ray when she grew up, even wearing Ray's clothes, heels, and playing with her makeup. Cherish had recently learned how to ride a bike without training wheels and was like every other kid, wanting to be happy, live life, and be with her family. Cherish's parents were not together. Billy lived in California, and Ray lived in Florida with Cherish. At the time, Ray had a boyfriend, and she had given birth to two little girls, making Cherish a big sister. On June 21, 2013, 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle was getting ready to fly to California to visit her dad Billy. In preparation for her summer visit to California, she expressed the desire to get new clothes for the journey. Rain agreed to go shopping, and her boyfriend provided her with $100 for the shopping trip. The funds were intended for buying new clothes, food, household items, and to cover expenses such as taking Cherish to the airport the next day and paying for a taxi. Despite being on a budget, they decided to go to the dollar store for their shopping needs. At the time, Rain didn't have a car, but the dollar store was only a 20-minute walk away. Rain chose to walk there with Cherish and her 2 other daughters. She wanted to buy one of her daughters a black dress, but she wasn't sure if she had enough money for it. While in the checkout line, trying to figure out how to purchase the dress, a 59-year-old man named Donald Smith approached her. Donald came up to her and said, "If you want the dress, I'll buy it for you." Initially, Rain was kind of creeped out by this man because she had seen him in the store earlier when she was in the shoe section trying on shoes. She noticed that he was just standing there watching her, so she thought that he might be planning to rob her. She was a little nervous when he approached her, but then he calmed her down and said that he also had little ones of his own. He mentioned that she had her hands full and that he just wanted to help her. He also told her that his wife was on the way to give him a $150 gift card to Walmart, and that if she wanted it, she could use it. After learning that he had a wife and little ones, she began to trust him, feeling like he wasn't going to rob her and that he was just an old, sweet man wanting to help her out. She agreed to take the gift card. They all walked outside to the Dollar Tree parking lot and waited for Donald's wife to come by. While they were waiting, it started to rain. Now again, Rain didn't have her own car, so she was thinking about how to get back home in the rain with 3 young children. On top of that, Donald's wife was taking forever to arrive, and Rain kept asking Donald, "Where's your wife?" Donald would just tell her, "Don't worry. She's on her way. She'll be here soon." However, once it started to rain, Donald told Rain. Rain decided to trust him, and she got in the van with her 3 young children. The van had blinds on the windows, and there was no middle seat as the front passenger seat was pushed all the way down. They all got inside the van and started driving to Walmart, which was about 10 minutes away. As they drove, Rain, in conversation with Donald, shared how old she is and the ages of her children. She then asked Donald about his wife, expressing concern. "Are you sure she's meeting us at Walmart?" Donald reassured her, saying, "Yes, don't worry, she'll be there soon." They arrived at Walmart after a 10-minute drive, and Rain began shopping. 10 minutes later, they arrived at Walmart, and Rain started shopping. She believed she was getting $150 from Donald's wife, so she began adding items to the cart. While Rain shopped, Cherish and the girls played around, and Donald stood watching them. Though he wasn't really shopping for himself, he eventually added something to the cart, a rope. As they continued shopping, Donald asked Rain if he could take Cherish to the dressing room, and Rain agreed. She allowed this unfamiliar man to take her 8-year-old daughter to the dressing room alone. Donald and Cherish went to the dressing room, where he presented her with high heels meant for a grown woman. Cherish wanted to try them on, but when Rain saw the inappropriate heels, she intervened, stating that they were unsuitable even for herself. After that, they continued shopping, and Donald took Cherish to the dressing room once again. At this point, Donald's wife had still not shown up, causing Rain to get worried. She asked Donald about his wife's whereabouts, and if she was actually coming. Once again, Donald assured her that his wife would be there soon. As 10:25 p.m. approached, Walmart made an announcement about closing soon. Rain realized it was getting late, and that she hadn't fed her daughters dinner yet. There was a McDonald's inside Walmart, and Donald suggested they eat there. He told Rain that he would go with Cherish to get McDonald's while she continued shopping, and they would all meet up to eat together. Rain agreed to this plan, allowing Donald to go with her 8-year-old daughter to McDonald's. Although the McDonald's was inside the store, Rain let this man walk off with her daughter by themselves. Cherish and Donald walked in the direction of McDonald's, but instead of going inside, they walked past it, and footage showed them leaving Walmart and getting into Donald's white van. 20 minutes later, Rain was ready to check out, but she realized that Donald and Cherish were still not back. Remembering that he was supposed to give her the $150 gift card, she began looking for Donald and Cherish, but they were nowhere to be found. It's evident that Cherish never made it to McDonald's when Rain goes to the McDonald's area and finds it closed. She rushes to the parking lot and asks someone to call 911, urging them to put out word about a white van. The next day at 9 a.m., A white van is spotted driving along the highway. The police pull it over, finding Donald Smith in the driver's seat, but Cherish is nowhere to be found. Donald's lower half is soaking wet, leading authorities to suspect he left her body in a body of water. Unfortunately, they were right. Cherish's lifeless body is discovered underwater, weighted down by bricks and debris, under a tree in a creek. She had been brutally assaulted and strangled with a rope, presumably the same rope that Donald had bought. In the end, Donald Smith is sentenced to death. During the trial, it is revealed that he was a convicted sex offender with crimes dating back to the 1970s. Donald Smith's attempt to blame Cherish for her own death is indeed disturbing. It's a tragic and horrifying case, and it's important to highlight the complexities surrounding the responsibility of parents in such situations. Some blame has been directed towards Rain, Cherish's mother, for being too trusting and allowing Donald to go to the changing room with Cherish and letting them walk away by themselves. This case serves as a stark reminder for everyone to be vigilant and cautious when it comes to the safety of children. It's a heartbreaking situation, and my thoughts go out to Cherish's family. Parents and caregivers should always prioritize the safety of their children and exercise caution in unfamiliar situations.